Okay, okay. I know. I love you too. I love you too. You're a good boy. All right, so we had this decline into a low here. Hermes, you can't sit right in front of there. So we continued to decline, right? We had this decline with the Ace of Cups at the close that continued into the morning, and you see the Ace of Cups here in the morning. The Death card also a good indication of an important bottom. In a lot of cases, not always, but in a lot of cases, the Death card is a good signal. And then we had this rally out of it, so that decline in the morning offered an opportunity to open up a long position, which you could have closed there. Just a little bit later, like about 11 o'clock. Followed by another low close to the same low midday. We have this sideways S formation. Between 10 and 11. And you could see a sideways S within a channel right there. Sideways S. Followed by the abundance card, which is this move higher through resistance, staying above it briefly, breaking back down. In a lot of cases, it's to the same price level, but it's not necessarily a full retracement. It's usually like a new local high, and that's exactly what this is, because you have this high here, and then you decline lower, you have another lower decline, same low, and then you make a new high. Reversal around, what is that, around 2 o'clock. It's just on the ball of 2 o'clock, taking us into a high, another high here, with a failed attempt to break through key resistance. Right, we come off of the high, we have this failed attempt to break through key resistance, and then we should have another move to the upside, like a prominent move on a one-day chart to the upside, to a high that'll either happen before the close or at the close, and that's where I would exit. It's likely to be higher than this high here, or the same high. I think it's probably the same high, because this is erratic behavior back and forth through the same price level, and it indicates that in a lot of cases we revisit a crest in the midst of that erratic behavior that was recently a past opportunity. So it would make a lot of sense. You also have this ruin indicating to open a short position. Which definitely looks like a good idea from the 1 month standpoint as well. And the low here on the 14th, we revisit a support level that was recently a past opportunity, and there'll be like a period of sideways rotation and a sharp drop taking us to that low. The sharp drop to that low probably happens right here midday, after maybe around off of like a peak at around 12:15ish. It'll be a move higher through resistance. We stay above it briefly, and then we have a full retracement back down through that same price level. And then further, through multiple supports into a low. And that would be where we'd open up a long position. As indicated here by the orange highlight, which is a correlation, indicates a correlation to the theme card, and the theme card being the Princess of Cups. Decline offering opportunity to open up a long position. Sorry, guys. Whoa. This is also a cross-reading congruency here. The defeat card is a cross-reading congruency with either the monthly or the I'm not sure why it's not indicated, why I don't have it indicated if it's the monthly or not, but let's take a look. It's the 1 year cluster. So the low correlator card on the 1 year or the low significator card here in the low position of the August month. This cluster of 4 cards is the month of August in 2023, and the low indicator here is the defeat card, and we find the defeat card as the sneak preview for the 15th. Interesting. So it could mean that the lows here or the lows tomorrow. What happens is when you have a cross-reading congruency like that from like an overlapping time frame, like you have the same card on a 1 month appearing in the same place, like on the same 1 day, like it's an overlapping time frame. In other words, the cross-reading congruency will appear in a lot of cases in the reading, but not necessarily right on the moment of the reading. It's more of like an indication within close time proximity, so it'll be in the same reading, right? So like we see the appearance of this cross-reading congruency in the reading, where the low will take place for the month in many cases, not always, but in many cases. So that's another strong indication of a low here. Hopefully I'm explaining that well. Hey Cal, hey Conrad, hey Tabraze. Do I think that Netflix still has a high on the 14th? And then we decline from the high? I'm gonna have to do something about the screen because it's hurting my neck. This new setup is making my neck stiff. Yeah, we're about to see a pretty big move here to the upside. I think we might actually break through, and then it's this resistance here that we probably have a failed attempt to break through. That could be the case too. And the reason why I say that is just because there's so much room on the RSI there. Even on the 1 minute. Sorry, Netflix. I'm recording a bunch of October monthlies today. This evening. Why did I close that? Alright, August. All right, so looks like I was off on a low there. So I'm just looking at, I'm looking right now where the low may be as an indication of, well, it's not that I was off. It was the lowest low, and then we now have a lower low. But I'm kind of like don't have that indicated. So it may be that there's a low here. Putting the high closer to the 21st, 22nd, probably the 21st. Matter of fact, actually, probably here on the 28th, 29th is the highest high. Maybe the 27th, 20, or 25th, 28th. It's possible, but I think we may have a low, like a lowest low on the 14th. Looking at this, because I didn't catch that like a lower price level here. Which could be this ruin right here, actually. It's so far away, though, that I kind of missed it. But the reason why I say we might have a lowest low here on the 14th is because it's the Ace of Cups is a very like natural bottom kind of card. It's not always the bottom, but when you see like we're really close to a low and then the next card is the Ace of Cups, usually indicates like there's a bottom there. I would say that's a pretty safe bet. If we go lower on the 14th, that would be opportunity to open up a long position and close the very next day, or you could hold it for multi-day trade into the 28th, 29th. Hey Mirdula, hey AB, hey Carolyn. Will you get another cheap buy opportunity on Solana, or should you buy now? There's that March low. And then there's a June low and a June high. And we see a June low and a June high. I didn't have it as a lowest low, but there's a Princess of Cups there, which is an indication in a lot of cases of a lowest low. It's not a lowest low per se, because it was the lowest low was at the very beginning of the year. But in any case, we got a prominent trough and peak there. And then we should see the same thing here. Well, we should have seen the same thing going on here in July. We had a peak and a trough, and it doesn't show me the rest of July. I don't know why the candlesticks don't. I'll probably just get a trading view account again. I think I'm probably off on this. I think this ruin probably threw me off because I have it indicated as the lowest low, at least like a mild possibility of a lowest low. But I don't think that that's the case. I think it's more. This ruin has more to do with the local low energy of this Dominion card, which is why it's sitting on the Dominion card rather than somewhere more in the timeline. But I think I read it as though it was in the timeline. So we're probably going higher here. I mean, there'll be like a minor trough, it looks like, in like around the cusp of September, October. A lot of price movement here off of the high, or the high actually is probably here based on this ruin. The high is probably here on like the cusp of September, October, but there's a lot of price movement in early October or around the cusp of September, October, and a prominent peak and crest, peak and trough. So you might be able to catch an opportunity there. I'd say probably your best opportunity this year is going to be after we reach this year's high. At the very end of the year, we're going to have, well, in some cases, actually, the science card is a top as well. And when you see it in combination with something like the unicursal, it could be a top there. But what the unicursal means is there's going to be a pretty significant decline off of the December peak, and it looks like it's combined with this cash out opportunity, so it may be off of a high, but that's not really what's the relevant part of this. What's relevant is that it looks like we declined pretty notably to revisit a support level that we visited recently, so maybe in the last month or so. And it's going to be kind of like a pretty significant decline that scares people out of SOL. Either that or at the end of the month there's a big fake out to the upside and you should utilize that opportunity to open up a short position. But I think probably what we have is this decline that scares. It's a sharp drop that should scare people out, and that's when you'd probably have your best opportunity to get in, is in the midst of that decline, to revisit a support level that we recently met once before. Sorry guys, I have like itchy throat. Will EWT reach $100 in 2025? I'm gonna do a reading on EWT very soon. Matter of fact, let me write that down. I want to make sure that it gets done in this next reading session. Yeah, I'm gonna do the 10-year. So it's a 10-year reading because it started in 2020, even though it's not a full year. All right. So does it reach $100? Does Energy Web token reach $100 per coin or per token by the year 2025? By the end of the year of 2025? Yes or no? I got a no for that. So Energy Web token, the question is, does it reach $100 by the end of 2025? I got the defeat card for that, which is a definitive no. There's a failed attempt to break through a resistance level, followed by a decline through key support between now and 2025, the end of 2025. That's Energy Web token. Do you think we should keep short and keep it until Monday? Some are calling for a bounce next week. What are your thoughts? There is a bounce next week, but it's off of a low, like a low on Monday morning. Matter of fact, we see low correlations here, cross reading congruency correlations on the dailies here on both the 15th and the 16th, as well as a same reading correlation to the lowest low here on the 14th. So there's a bottom somewhere right around here. That's why I have this whole thing kind of circled. And then there's a bounce out of that bottom to the upside. We revisit a low there. It looks like towards the towards like the early to mid part of the following week. And then, like I said, we might even have a lower price level here on the 28th. It may be the same low, or it's possible it's a lower low. It's probably the same low. The reason being is that we have sideways rotation as the theme card with a fast sudden move higher ending that sideways rotation. And so far, it's been sidewaysy, but with a downward slant to it. And that's the hangman card crossing it. Maybe Hermes can give me a massage. Hey, Proof. Will Bitcoin go lower today? Also got an AMC reading coming out. I already recorded like an update for AMC, but something was wrong with the recording. So I did it like a month ago. I have to redo it, and that's coming out really soon. That's the Ace of Cups right there. There's a resistance we met many times before. Sharp decline off of a peak. I think we probably have a little further to go. What we want to see is sideways rotation, which is hard to not see on this chart. Jeez. I mean, if we go lower, it's only going to be like to the lows that we saw here around the first second. It's not going to be lower than that. So if we do go lower, it'll be to like that price level. So I would say it's not too risky. It's always a risk, but I would say it's not like a high risk to enter into a long position around these levels because we've got this reversal coming, and then there's this ace of discs off of a trough into a peak. Then we like start to rally into a highest high and possibly even a higher one here at the very end of the month. Remember, the overall theme for the month is this Aeon card, so there's going to be a big move to the upside, pushing the upper end of a range higher. It looks like around the 16th, 17th, and then around the 24th, 25th, again, another pretty big move. There was an Aeon correlation here on the 8th. And you can see that was the Aeon move right there. So there's another correlation on the 17th. There's another one on the 24th, correlations to the Aeon card. We also had another Aeon correlation here on the 10th. It was a little early. But in any case, I don't foresee us going much lower if we do go lower proof. The general trend direction of SMH for next week. What's the overall trend direction for SMH throughout the coming week? There's a overbought peak or crest that we sell off from. So since we're already in the midst of selling off, I'd say it's likely continued decline, not from overbought, but like that overbought peak was back here, but we still have more decline to go in the midst of that. We'll probably decline to the 200-day based on where we are here. We might bounce at 100-day moving average based on the support that's really close to it. But then 200-day would be down here, and there is a gap that needs to be filled. I think we probably hit that 200-day. We probably bounce off the 100-day like just a little bit, and then we continue further to the downside. Let's see if I'm right. Am I right about that? Am I right about that? Yes or no? I got a yes. So when we have that bounce off of the 100-day moving average, there'll be a rally there. That rally, you could open up a short position for a quick downward, like a quick short to the downside exit when we bounce off of these price levels here around 134. I know you like those shorts. You're welcome, Conrad. AV, are you asking, is the bottom for PLTR, is the bottom in for PLTR? Is that what you're asking for August? What direction does PLTR go over the next week? Over the coming week? I got the Prince of Swords in a case of like trying to determine direction. A lot of price movement, but it's probably back and forth, and then eventually to the downside through creating multiple new resistances on the way down. So we probably hit that 200-day moving average after a bounce off the 100-day. Did we do that? I got a yes for that. Will it go up in September, PLTR? What's the overall trend direction of PLTR? What's the overall trend direction of PLTR for the month of September 2023? I got the star card, so a very notable move to the upside standing out on a multi-day chart or on a, let's say, a one-year chart. It'll be an unexpected move. Sometimes that means that it's out of a decline. It starts out of a decline. Other times it's just like something unexpected takes place that like sets this like big move off that nobody saw coming. It's a really big move to the upside, in other words, unexpectedly so. That's September for PLTR, which is Planeteer Technologies Inc. You're welcome. What do I think about Amazon next week? If you didn't know that we do Amazon monthlies now, guys, we started doing Amazon monthlies. Where's that chart? We started doing regular Amazon monthlies. You can't subscribe for on an individual basis for the Amazon monthly. We also started doing Google monthlies. Same scenario applies for Google. The only way that you get the paid version of Amazon or Google is if you've got the all paid subscription, which you get here on Asimeta Posts on our website. Scroll down the monthly subscription and click here 30 days access to all paid monthly predictions. Gives you access to the paid version of all of these, as well as tickers that are one-offs, and Amazon and Google as well that are regular, but you got to have that to get it. They'll be coming out almost every month. I don't want to have them as an individual because sometimes it's a lot to do all of that, and there may be occasionally a month that it doesn't get done, but I've been doing them all the way through October thus far. So next week for Amazon, there's that adjustment card on the 4th. Big move to the upside. Adjustment often indicates a gap up. A high on the 7th. Looks like we had a prominent crest on the 7th and then a high on the 10th, so we were a little bit off there. There was a prominent crest on the 10th, but we had them reversed. So we have a prominent trough on the 14th. Matter of fact, we may end up having a higher price level or the same high on the 18th. Looking at it now, this might be a high. There might be a highest high here. I have this circled actually, so I did pick up on it before. There may be a highest high right here actually, after like a notable low that'll stand out here on the 14th. And if this ends up being a highest high, then I would say that this is a prominent or a lowest low thus far on the 23rd, and then we have a deeper low on the 28th, 29th for lowest low there. Overall beginning of the week, or the majority of the week I should say, not necessarily the beginning, the first day looks pretty bearish, but we're kind of like wild actually. The majority of the week or the remainder of the week looks pretty bullish, and in a lot of cases the Aeon card is such a big move that you push the upper end of a range higher there. There's also a really sweet trade here in the last 2 weeks, which I talk about in the paid version. Baby Yoda. Hey, Baby Yoda. Will we get dilution in SPC this month? Interesting. Let's take a look at SPC, see what's going on. Jeez, back to those lows again. So annoying, my God. Sorry guys, this is one of those, it's kind of giving me a little bit of a difficult time. That's why I always say I'm not right all the time, but I still feel pretty strongly about SPC. I'm just frustrated with the kind of like ambiguity of its behavior. Do you know if they did some sort of dilution? Do you know, is there a date tied to it yet this month? It might help me to determine if I see it here in the monthly. Baby Yoda, let me know if you know if there's a date specifically so I can take a closer look. And it looks like I might have been off about the low here as well. So we had a low on the 8th here. 7th, 8th kind of bottomed out there, but then we went lower, making this a low. So we're probably going to have a lowest low here is my sense based on what's transpired. We're probably going to have a lowest low here around the 15th, 16th. And then from there, we should see a notable move to the upside, a new local high here on the 21st, 22nd, and then possibly a highest high on the 28th. Or 29th, but if not there, then we'll remember what I said about the adjustment card, and we have the adjustment card for September. Adjustment card is a significant move to the upside. Often it's a gap up. Yeah, there is a pretty big move there. Like on the cusp of the 16th, 17th. It's pretty, there's some price swings there around the 15th, 16th, 17th. And I mean the theme card is crossed with the Hermit card here, which means that on like a monthly kind of scale, we revisit in the midst of this opportunity, this trade opportunity, we revisit a support level that we recently met in the past. So like on the scale of a 1 month, it could be been last month's low, or maybe 2 months out, and you can see there's a pretty significant low that we revisit here. When looking at it, when it's a theme card or a crossing card, you want to look at it from the scale, interpret it from the scale of like a 1 year reading, because it's the whole month that it's talking about, if that makes sense. Right? So we're revisiting that opportunity, which is what the Princess of Discs card is about. It's a significant trade opportunity. So if you were like, damn, I missed the opportunity on SPC, well, here it is, guys. This is a significant trade opportunity on a 1 year kind of scale. And I think the low is probably going to be there around the 18th. Excuse me, around the 16th, the 15th or the 16th, based on what's transpired thus far. The 7th, 8th ended up being a lowest low thus far. We had this little bit of a recovery, and then we went lower, and so I read this as a high, but really what it is we've gone lower. It's going to end up being a low here. I hope Baby Yoda got that. So dilution. Does SPC get diluted in August 2023? Yes or no? Well, Claire Kinetics. I got a yes. Hey, Robert. What does SHIB look like for the end of August? So we had a high here we have a high here on the 12th, it looks like. This probably was a lowest low here. Which was on the 2nd, right? 2nd, 3rd. We had another significant trough, almost the lowest low, but not quite, on the 7th, 8th. So it was a little bit late on that, but that's that Ace of Cups. The Ace of Swords is here on the 5th. That's that important resistance. And then we turn that resistance into support here on the 12th. After a rally that increases with momentum on the 11th. You can see a rally that increases with momentum here on the 11th. What was the question? What's SHIB coin for the remainder of August? For the end of August. It looks like we probably come back to the same highs that we see here on the 11th, 12th, or the 12th, 13th. Looks like we probably come back to the same high towards the end of the month there, around the 20, somewhere here around like the 26th to the 28th. Probably the 27th. But then there's a pretty sharp drop at the very end of the month off of that high. Am I still seeing an Apple long potential opening 14th into the 16th? Sorry, guys. I'm just thinking. Started daydreaming, but I'm just thinking because it's already 4 o'clock. There's so many questions. I'm not going to be able to answer all the questions. It's looking like it's probably getting time to start doing like paid member only chats on some of these live sessions. Either that or I could start charging for the questions, but something like that's gotta happen. Oops, that's the wrong month. '14th to the '16th. I probably wouldn't wait till the '16th. But yeah, there's a long in there when rotating sideways along the support here. It looks like we're establishing support right here, and the Princess of Discs is support. Either that or we go lower and rotate sideways tomorrow. But there should be like a move to the upside. It will be bound by the upper end of a range. That's where I would exit out of the long. It's probably an overnight, like a 14th into the 15th kind of trade. All right, guys. Sorry if I missed you. It's already 4:07, so I'm just gonna answer this guy AV's question here as a paid member. Last question, and then we'll just have to pick up where we left off on Monday, guys. Will SPY hit today's low on Monday, or maybe even go lower? I think it's probably going lower. Yeah, there's that gap right there, guys. You see that? We're probably going to open around this 442 range. It's quite possible. Well, although it's the revisiting of a support level here on the 14th. So it may be the same low, actually. I guess we did kind of fill the gap right there. We filled it today. Sorry guys, we filled it today. So I would say it's probably the same, about the same low. Maybe it's a little lower, testing that low, but it'll be close. And just to recap, so at the end of the day here, hopefully people followed along and they closed the long position near these highs. And then opened up a short position as indicated by this. And there it was, guys. We had this high, we declined, and then we had this failed attempt to break through that high as we expected. We came back to the high a second time. That was the signal to exit the long position that would have been opened in the midst of the decline here first thing in the morning. Hopefully I see some Rule of Karma donations come through, guys, because that was a solid trade. Um, and then the other portion of that was to open up a short position here in the midst of this rally into the close, where we revisited a crest again, right? Close that short position in the morning. Open up a long position in the midst of this drop here around 2 o'clock. We have this move through resistance. Will stay above it briefly and then have a full retracement back down through that same price level, followed by more of a decline through multiple support levels into like the roughly the 1 o'clock hour. I said 2, but I mean 1 o'clock. That's where I would open up a long position. You could close the long position at the end of the day for a day trade. And I think we probably see the low again at some point here on the 15th, 16th. It's like some sideways rotation. I mean, and that's exactly what we see, a sideways rotation. The Prince of Discs and the Ace of Discs both indicate some sideways rotation, and then they both have cross-reading congruencies with overlapping time frames. There's that defeat card again on the 16th. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching. As always, make sure to follow that rule of karma, guys. It really sucks when I'm right about trades and I don't see rule of karma come through. It makes me want to stop doing it, just so you guys know, because it's all pretty much for free for the most part. So follow that rule of karma. You do so here on the resources tab. I appreciate all of you out there that do that. Guys, just so you know, there's like maybe a handful of people. Like, we have... Sorry, our content. We have like between like we usually end up in the low side in the 80s, between like 80 and 100 or 80 and 200 even views on each of these lives. And there's probably less than 5 people that actually follow through on the rule of karma. So you should be very thankful that those 5 people exist, because without them, we wouldn't be doing this anymore. And even that, guys, sometimes I don't want to do it. I'm just like, dude, I do this every day. I could be traveling. It's free. So think about that. If you've profited, you really should be following through on the rule of karma. If I didn't get to your question, my apologies, guys. So here for the new people, rule of karma, 5% of the profits should be donated forward to charity, 5% of the profits back to the channel, leaving you with 90%, which is plenty, guys. If you were getting charged by a professional stockbroker, they would have taken 3 to 4% on the way in of the entire investment, and then probably 3% on the way out, whether or not it made money. You know, of the entire investment, not the profit. We're talking about 5% of the profits forward and 5% of the profits backward. So bless your soul if you're one of those angel investors following through on the rule of karma. We're actually going to start doing a private, what's it called? A private Discord just for people. You'll get an invite if you're a rule of karma individual, somebody that follows through on the rule of karma. Without doing that, and guys, the rule of karma is not the same as paying for a paid subscription. To be clear, the paid subscription we should be charging thousands for them. They might as well be free. What we charge is just so we can actually get by. So without the rule of karma, you know, there's no growth to the channel. Blessings to you guys. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you guys on Monday.